Please be advised we are speaking in our own individual capacities and not representing any companies we may work for.
We are not your lawyers, and any information given during this podcast does not constitute as legal advice and is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Enjoy the episode. Okay, Nicole, be honest. How much time did you waste trying to figure out how to study for the bar?
Way too much. That's why we use Kaplan Bar Review. It's like having your own personal legal GPS.
You log in and boom, a whole bar prep is already planned out. There's daily task, realistic practice questions, and full-length mock exams.
And support when you hit a wall. Kaplan doesn't just test you, it teaches you. There's a big difference.
It's streamlined, it's smart, and it actually works. When you sign up for Kaplan, you get all of this.
We're here to not hope we pass, but to plan to pass.
Go to kaplantest.com/bar and use code GONELEGAL for a special discount just for our listeners.
Kaplan Bar Review, where law students go legal.
Hi guys, I'm Katie.
And I'm Nicole.
And welcome back to Girls Gone Legal.
We're back.
Hello, welcome back. Obviously, it's not just two of us. We have our first ever guest of season 2.
Yes, we're so excited. Let's welcome Ariana.
Hello, everyone.
We've already been yapping for, what's our timer like? We've already been yapping for 10 minutes. So,
no way. No,
yeah,
longer though.
I think we forgot where we were.
I know. We're like, I guess we should probably intro this podcast. So, awkward. But yeah, we'll give you a full rundown. Nicole, you take it over.
We're going to give you a quick bio about Ariana, our wonderful guest, and then we'll just get into it.
Yes.
So Ariana Gonzalez is a New York-based attorney at Wasserman Media Group, a global leader in talent representation across sports, music, entertainment, and culture. She works in-house supporting the Creators Division, a dynamic and diverse group that includes TV personalities, student athletes, moms, beauty influencers, college students, and other niche content creators. Originally from Miami, Florida. We love Miami.
Every episode, Nicole talks about Miami.
I love Miami. I'm getting ready to go next week.
I know. I'm excited for you.
Ariana earned her undergraduate degree from University of Florida and her JD from Seton Hall University School of Law. Another thing I can relate, I went to undergrad at Seton Hall.
Oh, did you?
Yes,
okay.
I did undergrad there. Beyond her legal work, Ariana is passionate about mentoring emerging lawyers, particularly those pursuing non-traditional paths in media entertainment. She approaches her work with a thoughtful, client-first mindset and is dedicated to helping creators thrive in today's ever-evolving digital and culture landscape. So welcome.
Wow.
We're so
Thank
excited
you.
to have you.
I also
Thank you.
I need to add the caveat to your bio, the fact that this is her successful career already, and you're how many years at a law school?
Next month will be 2 years.
That's crazy.
That is
2 years.
that
I'm
is
1 year.
crazy.
I'm right behind you.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's
how far
especially
you can
in
come.
today's days where no one can get a job. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. In this economy?
Yeah. Yes. No, actually. I'm like, well, thanks honestly so much for coming in. Is there, I mean, I need you to dig into it because we started talking about it before the podcast and I'm actually so curious. You need to give me the rundown. How did you get to where you are? Like, give me your timeline here.
Should we start from like
Birth.
pre-law school?
Everything you think's
Okay.
relevant. Let's hear it. We're listening.
Always wanted to be a doctor. Coming from being a child of a Cuban immigrant. And as a kid, I just felt like nothing like really inspired me. I know that's crazy to say.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to play and have fun. Always loved movies, always loved TV, always loved sports. Even though I was a quitter. I would start a sport and then quit very quickly after. But it's because it was never enough.
Right.
It was never enough. It never satisfied me. So just did what I was told to do. Honestly, everyone in my class too was like, let's do pre-med, let's all be doctors. And I was even in like the Future Business Leaders of America in high school, but honestly, just for the events, sorry.
We've been there. We've all been there.
Yeah, like I was just lost. Like the only lawyer I had in my family was my aunt and my uncle. And I don't know, it just like never interested me. But went to undergrad, started at Auburn University. And Auburn at the time when I went was really heavily focused on pre-med and aeronautical engineering. So I think they had like a PR major, but there was like, I don't know if there's been a huge shift in the last like 10 years, but there wasn't any majors that really like piqued my interest. And I remember the moment that it like clicked in my head, I was in epidemiology class. And
what even is that? What even is that?
Girl, I don't know either, but I was sitting there. Also failing bio, by the way.
Right.
Full disclosure. Bio and calculus. I was failing at the same time. Got my W. You could withdraw from the class and get the W. But I was sitting there. We had like a slide of like the swine flu, and I got to see the swine flu, and I was like, I hate my life. I was like, this is gonna be the most miserable life ever. I'm never gonna be happy. And I remember spring came around and I was like, I can't do this again. I can't continue with this. I hate this. This is so boring. I can't imagine doing med school on top of this.
Which is so many
Horrible.
years. So many years.
Yeah,
So many years and
Residency. Oh my God.
residency, you're
Yeah.
paid absolutely nothing
Yeah.
for the years you're there, and you're working horrible hours.
Bye bye life. Like, no more.
Do you know what
Yeah.
kind of doctor you would have wanted to be?
Yes, pediatric orthopedic surgeon and or
Ooh, okay.
So intense.
dermatologist, which I'm a little upset because if I was a dermatologist, I would look a lot better than I do today. But
I feel like everyone's a TikTok dermatologist these days, so it's fine. There's a lot of them.
I still to this day do not have like a skincare routine. I'm
Yeah,
trying so
No,
hard.
neither do I.
Yeah, I
26
know.
years old.
know
Still
what to
just
do.
winging
We're
it.
very type B girlies.
I
at this
buy
table.
everything. I buy everything. It stays in the closet.
Oh, yeah.
And then I find it and I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
let's use
yeah.
that.
My skincare is Trader Joe makeup wipes, so it's
Oh,
fine.
I still use makeup wipes even though they're like bad for
Yeah,
you.
sorry, they're convenient. Sue me.
I
Sorry,
just
lazy girl.
use whatever makeup wipes I find at CVS.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
I'll buy
Absolutely.
something at Sephora. I'll like wash my
TJ
face.
Maxx.
A week later, I find a new product. I use that.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
nothing
There's
is
no
ever
consistency.
consistent. Yeah,
Mhm.
nothing's ever consistent.
It's whatever's at TJ.
Yeah,
That's what's
yeah.
on my face.
I'm like literally Trader Joe's right now. I literally was out here. She was like, "Oh, that looks alright. Sure,
Yeah.
that'll work."
That'll work.
Anyway, sorry. Continue.
So, I remember my parents were very against me. Like, I don't actually let me give you the
Okay,
story
okay.
first. So I sat there and I remember I was so upset and I remember sitting there. I'm sorry if anybody from Auburn is watching. I hated everyone there. I just felt so miserable. I felt like I didn't belong.
Yeah.
And there was no one like me there, no one from Miami. I mean, there maybe one or two people, but like I didn't meet them.
Right.
And I remember sitting there and saying, I'm gonna study abroad. Because like what
Get me outta here.
does
Get me out.
anyone
To be
do
out,
in
yeah.
college if we're like, study abroad?
Yeah. Yeah.
So my parents were like, absolutely not, absolutely not, absolutely not. I went into the office and I said, what programs do you have? By the way, it's the last day of spring.
right.
And
right.
like everyone's already like they put their deposits down. They already have they're like, we have Italy and we have London. Pick like that's it. Nothing else is available.
right.
And I wanted to go to Italy, but all they had was like the live-in program, like where you
Right.
live with a family.
Yes,
and I was
yes.
like,
You don't want to do that.
no. So it's like London, they speak English. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Like I don't have to learn another language. This will be easy. And the classes that they had was like movies in London.
Oh,
It was like
nice.
history
That's
of London.
fun.
It was really fun things.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the lady's like, listen, if you sign this paper, you can't get out. Like we're withdrawing you today from the fall semester.
Right.
And I was like, oh, and I had to ask my parents, but I was like, if I ask, they're gonna say no.
So
So I did it.
Yeah.
Sorry, mom and dad. I did it. And I called them after. They're like, what? And of course, what movie comes out when I'm studying abroad? Taken.
Oh,
Taken.
no.
My dad was like, absolutely no.
Yeah.
Like, let's cancel it. I'll take the
we're
loss.
bringing you home.
So, but you know, I think that was like the catalyst. I think that was like the turning point because
Yeah.
when I got to London, I was taking like fashion in London, media in London,
That's so
history
fun.
of
Yeah,
London.
that's
Yeah,
sick.
and I also everyone told me that the classes in study abroad, like, no, you don't have to go. You have to go.
There's
You
still
have to-
school.
You have to do your homework.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't. Got in trouble. But it was like traveling and seeing art, going to plays, listening to music. I was like, I think I want to be in something in entertainment, but I
Yeah.
didn't know what because I can't sing, I can't act. I mean, I want to really bad.
It's not all fun, by the way.
No.
Just by the way.
So I feel like it. I don't know. I feel like it depends, but
When there's months of no work, it's not as fun. It's just
you're
like, what do I
right.
do?
You're right.
Anyways.
I went to Paris, and as I got there, the bombings of Paris happened.
You have great timing. Just
Of
saying.
course.
Sorry.
Gosh.
Yeah, no,
okay.
just wait till my life story. So bombings happen. They're like, hey, like, where do you want to go? We have to get you out of here.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know. So I picked Amsterdam.
Did you-
Life-changing moment. Because I was like, I don't know where to go. And everyone's like, Amsterdam is. So I went. And on the bus, I had to take a bus to a ferry to another bus. I Googled best entertainment program in America, undergrad. And it was like University of Florida. And I'm like, okay, I'm from Florida.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
But their acceptance rate for their like transfer program is like 2%,
Right.
which is nuts.
Yes.
they only accept like 30 transfer students.
Wow.
And I was like,
That's
you know
crazy.
what? I got nothing to do right now. Like it's going to be a long
apply.
bus. It's a long bus. It's a long ferry.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
applied. I got everything done. I applied. Forgot about it. Forgot that I applied because I was just like trauma.
Yeah.
And I got in like the next week.
That's crazy.
And
That's
I was
amazing.
like, never in my life did I think I was going to go to University of Florida. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to make it work.
And this was for an entertainment undergrad.
Yes, for telecommunications.
Okay.
Well, actually, I started in PR and then I switched to telecom.
Right.
Because I was like, I want to be on TV. I want to be in radio.
Right.
Yeah.
Again, get to UF. I'm like, okay, I love this. I literally loved every single class, but I was
Yeah.
like, I'm going to be so unhappy
Right.
because like this is not enough. And I remember, now this is another turning point. My PR professor was like, we're going to go over salary transparency. Thank you, PR professor, for changing my life.
That's wow.
Yeah. Shows me like the breakdown, the whole class, the breakdown of like years and being in PR. Also, PR, you work so hard and you are underpaid, everyone.
Yeah. I have a friend in PR and it's like the way she
works
talks
so
about her hours.
hard.
There's no, you don't turn your computer off.
I feel so
like-
bad. But I
that's
saw it and I was like,
crazy.
knowing me with my expensive lifestyle, I was
this
like,
will not work.
I was like, this can't happen. And I'm not going to rely on a man for money. So I was
Never.
like, no,
Never.
this can't happen. So I was like, what can I do? And then I thought about being an agent.
Right.
And I was like, oh, but I don't know. Maybe I'll be a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
And I took entertainment law. It was like entertainment pre-law.
Right.
Took it, fell in love. I was like, this is it, period.
Yeah,
Know
yeah.
my life.
I
I'm
love
happy.
that.
Did so bad on the exam.
Oh.
So bad. But I was like, I love it. I want to do it.
I'll work harder, I promise.
I'm going to do it. I whatever. So I took the LSAT. My first LSAT. Oh my gosh, I'm telling you, my life is
Keep
a
going.
joke.
No, I'm love
My
it.
life is a joke. So I signed up for the LSAT. We get an email. It's also at a game day at UF,
Oh,
right next to the
jeez.
stadium. We get an email at like the night before. They're like, "There's a hurricane, so it might tentatively is canceled." So I'm like,
God,
"Oh."
great.
So I go to bed and I'm like, "Oh, it's okay. Like it's canceled." I don't know what like happened to me, but it told me to wake up at 3 a.m. I wake up at 3 a.m. It's on. The exam's on.
For what time were you taking it?
I had to get there at 6 a.m. So I was
That's
like,
nuts.
oh my God.
And it's
you
also
just put it
crazy that you
back
woke
on.
up. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. That happens to me all the time. I have
great
like a
intuition.
sixth sense.
Yeah, I
Sixth
love it.
sense.
I love it.
My boyfriend, if you're watching this, you know you're probably so annoyed with me saying sixth sense. But yeah, I don't know. And I took it. I was under so much pressure.
Yeah.
So I was like it was just already bad.
Yeah.
And like at the time when I took the LSAT in person, 100%, you're in a room of 1 million people.
No.
It's fine. Like
The bar
every
exam.
like
Yeah,
I
but
well, I never had like remote classes or anything like that. So like that's all I knew.
This is all pre-COVID.
Yeah.
God, that was a horrible test.
Yeah. Oh.
Horrible test. I was just so, I just shouldn't have taken it.
Right.
Took it, didn't do like great, whatever. And then I was like, this score isn't where I want it to be,
Mhm.
but I think I'm going to use a gap year.
Mhm.
And I've only planned for 1 year, a gap year to work at a law firm and then see if this is what I want to do.
Mhm.
Which if you are a student that's an undergrad or thinking of going to law school, gap years are amazing because you should definitely work for law firms or like in the area that you want to
Yeah.
be in because actually immersing yourself right before you do it might change your mind.
Yeah. I wish I
So,
did do that.
I wish I did
Even
that
for
too a
making
little
connections
bit.
earlier, like
Because
Oh no.
I
You
mean,
didn't-
not for
like,
me.
oh.
when I was in law school, a lot of people in the entertainment industry, they already had experience because they took gap years.
yeah.
Yeah.
And got some experience just
Yeah.
like working
even having
in the
like a
entertainment
couple
industry.
like months under your belt in something,
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
it's true.
Learning how to email, period.
True.
I was like yelling at people. I wasn't signing my name.
You're like period explanation. Like,
Did not learn that skill.
Yeah.
But thankfully, I took the gap year and I learned how to do that.
yeah. And you were at an entertainment law firm during your.
So I worked for a big law firm.
Look at you.
Yeah, so I was a client service specialist at a big law firm in Washington, D.C.
Oh, wow.
Moved from
Wow.
Miami to go to D.C. Also was fully convinced I was going to Georgetown. Fully convinced. It was still a dream. It was still like the goal. And I did it. I realized big law
Wasn't for
not matching my personality.
Yeah,
You have to be a very strong person.
Yeah.
We've talked about this.
Not
a lot.
saying I'm not strong.
Yeah.
I just think with my personality, it wouldn't have worked. And I think I wanted to be more in like a focused firm
Yeah,
instead of big
100%.
law with like a million.
Yeah, you have to have a certain mindset. to
Yeah.
be a big
I mean,
law.
the big law salary it's very
hard to turn
beautiful.
down, but it's-
Beautiful.
yeah.
But with how much you work, not
yeah.
that beautiful.
Yeah.
But then I worked there. Then I took the LSAT again. And also, Mom, if you're watching this, you're gonna love this one. So I took the LSAT in DC.
Okay.
I was so ready. So ready. I studied for so long. Was ready. Sat down to take the test. Don't know why. Like I would assume someone with an accommodation would be in a different room, but I
Right.
had someone with an accommodation next to me who was blind, taking the exam.
Oh my god.
So it's fine. It's whatever. We're taking it. I think we're like 2 sections in. So, you know, I think it's like 5 sections.
4
6
sections,
four-
yeah.
2 sections in. We're almost done. The poor guy drops his book, the
No.
Braille book.
No.
And I'm like, okay, well, if I pick it up, like,
Yeah.
there's nothing on it. I can't read Braille.
Yeah,
So I'm like,
yeah.
okay. So I
No.
stop my exam. I pick it up. I put it on. And the lady looks, cheating. And I was like,
No, that's like that's
Yeah.
crazy.
No,
This
it's
is
trying
so
to be like,
trauma.
it's a
You were
good
trying to do
Samaritan.
the right
so much
thing.
trauma.
Yeah.
Wait, gotta take a water.
Wait, that's wow, not the Braille book.
So they scream and they go, cheating. And I was like, oh my God. And I talked to the lady. I was like, listen, I'm sorry. I just picked up the book. Like, I didn't look at his answers. I didn't look at his. Also, I can't see. I can't
Yeah,
see.
yeah, yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
And the lady's like, absolutely not. Rips my test. Also, in front of
You're
hundreds of people.
lying.
Also, if you're watching this and you were in the room,
That's
You know.
that's crazy.
Yeah, don't look around. Just look right
Wait,
at
but
your
what do you,
exam.
wait, that's crazy.
I'm having goosebumps telling the story. Yeah, rips up the test.
Yeah, this is an insane story.
I-
My heart would have dropped. I think I
Oh,
would have passed out.
So you're 2 for 2 right now. Like,
horrible. Like, why? I told you, my life's a joke.
that's crazy.
So I just was like, I still can't say anything. I was like, oh my gosh. And she was like, get out. Yeah, get out. So I left and I ran to McDonald's because my mom was
McDonald's.
Yeah, I
love that.
ran to McDonald's because my mom was waiting for me there. And I was crying. And I told my mom what happened. You do not tell an Italian mother that someone hurts their child.
Oh, I know. I'm,
My
I'm
mom
from an
goes-
Italian
My
family.
mom
I
goes,
know.
what? And she goes to the, by the way, this is like the Trade Center in DC.
right.
So she
Like high
walks into
security.
this.
It's
She
like-
walks into this building. She's, you know, my mom. God, my mom is the best woman I know. But she walks in. She's like, "Which one is it?" And
Wait,
she's
did
like
she go into the exam room?
Yes.
Oh my, that's great.
Yes.
That's great.
I love
She
it.
goes, "Which one
I
is
love
it?"
your mom already.
No, she's amazing. But she's screaming, "Which one is it?" And I show her, and she's screaming at the lady. The lady's like, I'm doing what I'm told. I'm doing what I'm told. So she's not letting me take the test.
I'm in shock.
Wait,
not
are
letting-
people taking the test while
Well,
your mom walks
when
into
my mom
the...
walks in, they're in a lunch break, but everyone's
Oh,
seeing my
okay,
mom.
okay.
Yeah, everyone's seeing my mom.
I thought she just like totally went in there
No,
and
but,
stopped the whole exam.
No, even the people taking the exam were like, "This is messed up." They got
Yeah.
in with my
Yeah.
mother.
Yeah,
and they're
because
like,
you-
"This is
well,
not
because
right."
you're
just
trying to help.
I can't get over the Braille book.
Yeah, the Braille. So my mom's like screaming, and she's like, "You're gonna have to take it up with the LSAC, whatever." So my mom and I go back to McDonald's. DC McDonald's, you will not see me again. But
Bad
Did you get,
memories
did you get
associated
anything at
too.
McDonald's?
we did.
Yeah.
I think we got French fries and like
Oh.
sodas. I
My
don't know.
favorite is an M&M McFlurry.
I've never had,
always.
I've never had a McFlurry.
You never had a McFlurry? Oh, we're gonna get you a McFlurry
No, I
after
don't.
this.
I don't. I'm
no,
scared.
no ice cream.
I like ice cream.
Oh,
but
okay.
I'm scared.
The
From
McDonald's ice
McDonald's?
cream.
I feel like I haven't had a McDonald's ice cream since I was a kid.
Like, what scares you about it?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
All right, that's fair, fair.
Different story for a different day.
Yeah, leave
Okay,
it
okay.
cool to go into McFlurry's.
Yeah.
I could do a whole episode on McFlurries. All right, can we, sorry,
Yeah.
continue.
I forgot where I was. Oh, so we go back to McDonald's and we call the LSAC
Right.
and they're like, I don't know, like there's nothing we could do right now. Like send us an email like explaining all of this. We send it. Also, this is like a Saturday.
Right.
I get a response Monday morning. This is an outrage. We have fired that individual. You can take the test whenever you want. We will make a day for you. You tell us when.
Wow.
An official, a signed letter apologizing.
Stop.
Yeah. Yeah. I wish I framed it.
Yeah,
God, I wish
that
I
is
could put it on my
framed
little-
it.
Yeah.
Put in your office.
I need to find it. I think it was on my my UF or yeah, it was on my UF email. It's gone.
That's
but
crazy.
whatever. I get this thing. End up like taking time.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
after that, I
Like, well,
gotta
now I
take
need
time.
to decompress
Oh,
over that
God.
experience.
Yeah. So, and I was like, damn, now I kind of know like what I need to study because I was like, there were certain things I was like not ready for.
Right.
Studied a little bit harder.
Right.
Took the test, got a amazing score. Took the test alone, which was so nice by myself at like Howard University.
Right.
It worked out. The testing proctor knew everything that happened. She was just like, "Do you need that thing? Do you need water? Do you need lunch?"
Yeah.
Like went and got me Starbucks.
That's
like literally,
crazy.
nice lady. Yeah. So took it, got an amazing score. Applied for like so many law schools. And I was getting into a lot. I got into a lot in New York City. I do not know why I applied to New York City because that was not on my radar. And it was honestly just New York, LA because I wanted to be in entertainment.
That's what everyone says. You
Yeah.
go one
New
or
York
the
or
other.
LA.
Yep.
And so I applied to a bunch of schools. So like none of them were giving, I think I applied a little late because none of them were giving money.
Scholarships. Yeah.
And I was told, and everyone who's applying for law school, listen up. I was told, go to the highest ranked law school. Don't even worry about scholarship. And
By who?
so many attorneys. All these attorneys.
Really?
All these
That's
attorneys.
crazy.
Yes. All these attorneys were saying, don't worry about scholarship, go to the highest law school. So, you know,
Yeah, because they want you to have the name.
the name.
The name
as you know,
behind
like
you.
T14, like
Yeah.
whatever.
Right.
Now in my practice, I know that was all
A lie.
BS.
Yeah.
I was trying to find a word. BS. But it's fine because I think I ended up in the place that I was supposed to be.
Mhm.
I got into Seton Hall. They gave me like a pretty good scholarship. So what I did was I was like, which one's the highest ranked on my list that gave me a scholarship?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so I ended
smart.
up taking
That was
that
smart.
one.
Yeah.
I ended up taking that one. And it was in New Jersey girl.
Yes.
And I was like, I think that would work because I have 2 dogs. And I was
Right.
like, I can't imagine being in the city with 2
Yeah.
dogs.
Yeah.
And I remember I went to go see it. Seton Hall is absolutely gorgeous. It's the coolest campus. Everything is new.
Nice.
It was amazing. And I put my deposit down. COVID hits. And I'm like,
you weren't giving up though. That was good. Just keep going.
I was like, oh, and my parents were like, you're not going. Like, it's
Yeah.
in New
Yeah.
York. I mean, you know, like New York was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
well, it was New Jersey, but I was planning on moving to New York. We went to go see it. I remember I had to wear my mask during like the tour by myself. We had to do like a private
Oh
tour.
gosh.
And like, I couldn't sit in on classes. I knew nothing going on. The cities were dead. So I didn't know like, okay, I was like, Newark looks like a nice place to live. Yeah. And
I'll leave it at that.
So
yeah,
that's
period.
where I got hit by a bus a few weeks ago.
yeah.
Nicole was in the car. Nicole
Are
had the
you in
bus.
Essex?
No, she context.
I'm in
Nicole
Newark.
didn't get hit by a bus. Nicole was in a car.
I was in the car
And-
though.
and
But the
we
bus,
still don't
the
know
bus
who
hit
hit who.
you?
We don't know.
Sue the city.
Hearsay.
No, I was just leaving it alone, and someone last night was like, "Wait, you're like waiting for your bar exam results. You're gonna be a lawyer. Like, why aren't you going after this?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
sometimes you just gotta like let things go. You know, take your losses.
I don't know. It sounds like a nice paycheck to me.
Yeah. We'll see how the rest of the season goes.
But that was in Newark, and it was like right near Seton Hall Law School. So
I believe it.
you probably
I
would've-
believe
if you were
it.
still there, you would have seen me outside
No.
on the phone, pacing back and forth.
I went and I left.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that was it. But so, you know, my mom and I were like, this is a good place because my mom came with me for the
Yeah.
tour. And I looked at Jersey City and I was like, okay, I think I can live in Jersey City.
Wait, is that where you lived?
No.
Oh.
So, I don't know what it was. I noticed that New York City apartments were the same price as Jersey
It was
City.
because COVID.
Yeah.
They had
During
discounted
COVID.
rates. Yeah.
I found this apartment, and as you know, in New York City, you sign same day.
Yeah.
Like if it
You like
goes
it, you
up,
take it.
if it goes up, it was up for 1 hour, and I signed.
You have to move quick. in New
Did
York.
not
Where in the
see
city?
this apartment. Fide-eye.
Okay.
And
So
right
you
on Wall
did
Street.
World Trade Center right in, take the path. I know the
Yeah.
feel.
And it was so cheap. But
Wow.
I'm thinking, okay, well, it wasn't that cheap, but it was cheap for New York.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh man, this is gonna be bad. This is gonna be junk.
Yeah,
Like this
yeah,
apartment's
yeah,
gonna be
yeah.
real bad because I couldn't see it. Because you couldn't see the apartments because of COVID. So I was like, you know what, I'm taking a chance. Also, it was what's it called? A condo. So I had to like do a bunch of applications. I had to
Right.
I had to get approved by
Yeah,
this
yeah.
whole like director, whatever. So went through the process, and I remember it was moving day. And at the time that I was moving in July, they still didn't know if law school was going to be in person or like hybrid or remote or whatever. So I was like, I'm going. I got to get out of here because I can't study at home.
Yeah.
4 dogs, by the way. At
You
home.
took 4 dogs with you?
No.
Oh.
I took 2, but even 2 was too much, so I returned one.
Returned it.
I returned my favorite one, unfortunately. She just requires a lot of
Attention.
care. Yeah.
So you're like, send home. Goodbye.
Sorry, Hazel. She needs to go to the bathroom way too many times a day, and I just couldn't give her the life that she needed. So
Is
gave
she
her my mom.
Was she a puppy?
No,
No.
she's just a dachshund. So they're hard to train. So I moved, and my mom and I, when we're driving, like we get off the plane in New York. I'm so nervous because I'm like, oh my gosh, this apartment's gonna be so bad, and what am I gonna do? Like if it's
You're
bad.
stuck.
Yeah. So we're driving up, and this is like luxury. I was like, there's no way this is my apartment. I got so lucky.
That's so nice.
COVID deal, so lucky.
Yeah.
Best apartment. Moved in, was gorgeous.
Yeah,
Like I don't think I can even afford to live there now,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
That's
Amazing a building, but it all worked out. We find out, okay, they're gonna do this hybrid, system.
Right.
We're going in. Did it. Horrible. Like I feel bad for anyone that had to go through like the hybrid
Yeah.
classes.
I did an
through law
undergrad.
school.
It was brutal in undergrad.
Law
I can only
school,
imagine.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
And
was
again,
rough.
like I told you in the beginning, like I never did remote classes.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know how to do that.
Yeah.
Plus, like, as you know, 1L is a different monster. And I took 2 gap years, so I forgot. Like that also was 2 years, by the way, guys.
Right.
Like it ended up being 2 years because of the whole
LSAT.
LSAT debacle.
LSAT incident.
Trauma. But yeah, so I didn't know what I was doing.
Right.
I had my aunt, but like I talked to her about law school and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. She was just like, you gotta do it this way. And I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because also law school is like, especially 1L is learning how things work for you.
Learning how to learn.
Yeah.
We always say that.
'Cause
1L's
everyone
learning how
learn-
to learn.
Everyone learns differently.
Yeah,
So
yes.
it's what works for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the only experience I had of like how should people be learning in law school is Legally Blonde with those
Right,
little groups and
right.
bringing my little basket. Like, can I join your group?
Yeah.
Can I join your group?
And no one wanted me to be in their group. Also, there was no groups because it was COVID.
Yeah.
I mean, if there was, thanks for not inviting me.
Yeah.
But it's just like there was no groups. So I just like studied on my own. Worst mistake, and this is for people in law school, do not rely on passed down outlines.
Make your
Oh,
own. We talk
no,
about
I
this
never
all the
rely-
time.
I never
Make
Make
relied
your
on
own
that.
outline.
Please, just use it as a reference.
Yeah.
Just use it as a
Yeah.
reference.
I don't care if it's like your best friend that made it. Like, just make your own.
Yeah,
outline.
yeah.
Yeah, so I did an outline. My first year? My
Did
first
you have a
semester.
mentor while you were in law school?
Yeah, I guess.
Were they like, was it
Yeah, I
helpful or
guess.
like?
No.
Yeah, Nicole was my
Sorry.
mentor. That's why I'm like,
I
that's how we.
know!
If I didn't have that,
Love
I'd be
it.
done.
Also,
like,
my mentor wanted to do like public interest or family. So,
So you're like, it's not.
I
the
loved
same.
her and she was
Yeah,
awesome,
yeah.
but it just wasn't the same.
Yeah.
Also, I went, by the way, if you're asking why I went to Seton Hall, I was promised that there was going to be a really good like sports and entertainment program, but I think everything kind of went to ish
Yeah.
because of COVID. So like there
Right.
wasn't professors, there wasn't things happening, like everything, like there was no groups,
Yeah,
there was
yeah,
no
yeah.
organizations, there was no get-togethers.
That's hard.
So yeah, so I was just
And how long did
miserable.
COVID go during like into your? Is it all 4 years or all 3 years?
I mean, the second year, I think we're still wearing masks.
Right.
But third year we took our masks off. But it was like, put on your mask, take it off, put it on,
Yeah,
take it
yeah.
off. So yeah, and then we had like the big clear things between us in
Ugh.
class. I couldn't make any friends.
Yeah, that's so hard. And not aside from that, like networking probably was borderline
There
impossible.
was
Yeah.
no networking.
Yeah,
there was no
that's
events.
crazy.
And it's hard because you're going through this and you probably feel like alone. Like I want to like
Everyone
meet
had friends,
people.
too,
And
because
yeah,
everyone-
yeah.
Seton Hall is kind of like a commuter school. I feel like it's not now, but when I went, again, it's
Everyone's from the area.
it's also
yeah.
and it's during COVID, so everyone's like, I'm gonna stay
Yeah.
home.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And so everybody like went home to their parents. Their parents were cooking them dinner every night.
Right.
Like I had to go and like scour for food.
Yeah.
Pizza every night.
yeah.
Pizza every night.
You do what you
Uh,
gotta
You're
do.
having New York pizza. That's
yeah.
good.
So I like wasn't making. It was hard to make friends. I mean, we had events, but at the same time, like everybody knew each other already.
Yeah.
And I like didn't know anyone, or they had mutual friends.
Yeah.
Did meet my boyfriend 1L.
Okay. At law school?
Yeah, we did.
You're with
amazing.
a lawyer.
Mhm.
First ever. We've talked to this.
And he's in litigation. I'm transactional.
Okay, I like that. There's separation. There's
Yeah.
separation here.
You guys get a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when he comes home, well, when we come home, I talk about my day, and he's like, "Wow, that's awesome!
Yeah,
all these
yeah.
celebrities." And then he starts talking about like his securities class action. I'm like,
And you're like,
I like glare over.
Falling
Yeah.
asleep.
I love him. I love you, but
There's a reason. The transactional girls didn't do litigation for a reason. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. At one point, I feel like I'm yapping.
It's okay.
Guys,
we
tell
can
me.
cut it down. You're all good. Keep on. Take your time.
So yeah, so it just I wasn't fitting in with anybody. Whatever. So I started studying with my boyfriend.
Right.
It worked out, but he doesn't study and he gets A's.
I hate those people. Sorry to your boyfriend,
Sorry,
but I hate
John.
them. It's just not fair.
Yeah, he doesn't study and he gets A's. He's such a great student. He's so smart. And so like I was like, what am I doing wrong? Because I just was not doing well.
Right.
Did horrible my first year. Horrible. And I don't care if anyone's gonna judge me. And if you're watching this and you went to Seton Hall, I lost my scholarship first year
Wow.
because I did so bad. Yeah.
This is, I don't know, I'll let you continue, but this is like
It's
an
fine.
amazing lesson
You
that
know,
like the
I was-
full circle.
I was embarrassed. I felt really dumb. I
Right.
felt like, okay, I'm never gonna be a lawyer.
It's imposter syndrome. And you're just like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had a professor look at me straight in the eye and say, you will never be an attorney and you will never pass the bar.
What?
She's like, you're gonna have to think about like paralegal. And if I was you, I would just drop out.
That's crazy.
that's
Yeah.
crazy.
And
Yeah.
look where you are today.
Oh,
so
I sat next to her on a panel.
Yeah.
Stop.
There you go.
So it's
Wait,
okay.
looked over and be like, I
that's
passed.
crazy.
Yeah.
So you lost, okay, and that's something that like I think is actually just really not talked about enough.
We need to talk
like
about it.
people lose, like especially one, like you don't know it unless you've been in it. 1L is literally a
Horrible.
different beast. It's so insane. You're trying to navigate so many different things at once that it's unfortunate, but it's common. People
Yeah.
lose their
Yeah.
scholarships. It's usually people's worst years.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I think it's the majority of people have their worst years with 1L.
Yeah.
I can
And
relate to you too. I lost my scholarship.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
But like I knew a lot of people that were losing their scholarships and I was
it's
like,
very it's very like consistent. Like it happens a lot, but no one
Well,
talks
there's a
about it.
reason they do it for first year, right? Like, and then
They're trying
then
to weed out.
They want to weed out the weak.
Mhm.
Well, we'll see what happens.
Weak.
Yeah.
Mhm.
and I got a negative on one of my like first
What's
was it
a
a final or a
negative?
midterm? A negative grade.
Yeah.
I didn't even know
What
that
does
was
that mean?
like I got like a negative 3
Because the
or
professor
something.
starts at
Oh,
0.
you got numbers? I just got letters.
No, we got numbers, and I got like
That's so nice.
and I got
Professor's
a
fired.
negative.
Oh well, I believe it.
But
But I was like, this is my
A
first semester, and I
negative.
was like, am I gonna make this?
Did you not only have
the
one
negative
grade?
probably led to my me losing.
well,
the
it started like that
scholarship.
professor started at 0 instead of like starting at 100 and deduct and like did added
Oh
or
my
deducted.
gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's horrible.
Yeah, and I was like, am I gonna make it? For a while, I wouldn't talk about it. I was like, no one can know I got a negative.
yeah.
Now that I'm like past it, I'm like, all right,
Well,
it's
and that's
over.
the same thing with losing your scholarship.
but-
Like no one talks about it enough. Like it's
Yeah.
and which is like unfair because then when it does happen, you feel
Yeah.
isolated and
You're
you're,
all
like,
by
I'm the
yourself.
only one. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean you're not gonna make it. If
No.
you lose your scholarship,
Well, this
Oh.
is like now. This is where I'm digging in now. So like
yeah, it gets
from
juicy
the,
here.
Okay, continue. Sorry.
So, and I remember getting the grades, and I was home with my parents.
Uh-huh.
Oh my god, I didn't eat for 3 days. I was screaming, crying. My boyfriend did fabulous. We were not good at
Yeah.
that point.
Yeah.
It's okay. I love him, but it was one of those times where I was like, I gotta quit.
yeah. Yeah.
Also, I'm networking, so I'm doing everything I can to just like at least get on the phone with someone.
Right.
Everyone's like, this is not gonna happen for
Right.
you.
Right.
You're not gonna pass the bar. This is an indication you will not pass the
Right.
bar. And I was like, oh my gosh, like what? And my parents, I didn't want to talk to my aunt about it because it's like, this is embarrassing,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So my parents are like, maybe you should. And then my parents are like, no, be strong, you could do it. But also my parents don't understand what the curve is.
Yes.
The curve. This is
It's a lot.
it's stupid. So I'm thinking, God, I got every question wrong.
Right.
I meet with my professor. So if you do fail a class, or not fail, but not get an A, not
Right.
get even a B, you should meet with your professor. You should always meet with your professor to
Right.
go over your exam.
So you never know what they
Yeah.
can also like at our school. You always had like there was a 0.3 wiggle room. So like if you met with them, sometimes like we
didn't
could
have
go
that.
from like a B to a B plus or a B
Yeah.
minus to a B. So
You just don't want to make the same mistakes that you
Yeah,
made.
so
See,
definitely
I'll
bring
take
it to
notes.
professors.
That's a nice little wiggle room.
yeah.
But there's some like you should do that because sometimes the professors make mistakes.
Right,
So
right.
like they'll like if there's multiple choice and you like put C, but then they were like, oh, that's wrong, or you know,
Right,
it's a
right.
Scantron.
Yeah.
So I went over it, guys. I didn't get that much wrong.
Yeah.
I literally did so well. Like I mean, yeah, maybe I got like 1 or 2 things wrong.
Right.
But it like
it's crazy.
it
Just
was
because you're
such a bad
so much
grade.
based on the average.
it
It's
was
crazy.
such a bad grade. I was so confused, and I was like, okay, wait, no, I can do this. And I
Yeah.
remember that like. But by the way, when my professor told me not to like to quit and to you're never gonna pass the part, that was actually during that meeting with the professor. Yeah, water break.
No, I
Wow.
give you a lot of credit because if I was hearing that to my face, like it would be so discouraging.
man,
and
I
like
was
that's
not
like a
good.
mental
100%.
You have to get through that mentally too.
Yeah.
So
And honestly, not even that. Like, good for you for even going into the professor and like trying to like take some action,
Yeah.
because a lot of people would see this and be like, okay, God, I got a bad grade.
Yeah.
I lost my scholarship. I'm out. I'm done.
Yeah.
But you
Yeah,
at least
yeah.
said, okay, wait, let's
Yeah.
see what they say and let's go from there, which is like
Yeah.
hard.
it's all about how you come back
Yeah,
too,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
You're gonna
yeah.
have some setbacks. It's all about how you pick yourself up.
I think the reason I didn't quit, because I was very close,
Mhm.
was that I watched someone very close to me quit the professional program he was in,
Right.
and seeing how people reacted to that, I was like, oh God, I don't want people to think I'm a quitter
Right.
or that like I couldn't do it.
Right.
I don't know if I'm obsessed with like people seeing success.
Right. Right.
It's not obsession. It's just that I can't. I don't want to be seen as failing.
Right.
And I don't want to disappoint my parents.
Right.
And out of everything, even today, my number one priority is to make my parents proud.
Yeah.
So
I can relate to that.
yeah. So I continued. I did bad this second semester of 1L. So it was like, oh God.
1L in itself, though, is just like
Horrible.
Just figuring it out.
Yeah, it's fine. But
Yeah.
also there were no internships, by the way, because of COVID. Everything was canceled. So
Right.
I ended up interning for my mentor put me into contact with one of her old internships. I did an interview, and it was with public interest. It was shout out Waterfront Commission. You're amazing. Best externship.
Really.
It was amazing, even though it's not entertainment.
Yeah.
I would say it's more like employment and criminal law.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Best experience of my life.
Amazing.
And I got my grades when I started at my internship or externship. And my externship supervisor, I remember we started and I was like, it was our first day.
Yeah.
I was like, can I have a moment to meet with you?
Right.
He was like, I think he was just like, yeah.
Yeah.
So he gets
yeah.
on the phone, he's super excited, and I'm like, I failed. I'm gonna get kicked out. And he was like, oh my, and I remember he was like, let me call you back. I'm gonna develop a plan.
Aw.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's a professor at Cardozo, by the way.
Oh, nice.
Paul. And I remember I was like, okay, maybe he can help me. And because I had no one to talk to.
Right,
And
right.
I didn't want to reach out to anybody personally, and he didn't know me personally. Also, very embarrassing to do to your boss.
Yeah.
First
Well,
day. But
oh,
I'm an emotional
First
girl.
day.
I'm an emotional girl. I'm crying.
You're like, oh my God.
Crying.
Who is this girl?
And he calls me back and he's like, okay, here it is. He like laid out like a plan. He's like, we're going to do
Aw.
this. We're going to do this. And then he asked if there was like remedial programs or something like that. We didn't have that at Seton Hall, which is weird. I don't know if New York Law School has
Did
it.
we?
I
I
don't-
don't know.
I don't know. But
that
he was
bad?
like,
I
we're going
don't
to do
know.
this. And I said, okay. And he's like, I want you to stop thinking about it. Enjoy this externship. Learn
Aw.
what you can.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm already, it's first day. And he's like, I'm blown away by like your leadership.
So nice.
So he was amazing. He really is one of the reasons I didn't quit as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
Sometimes you just need that one person in your corner.
yeah. And like, and my externship program, I think I got very lucky because all of us stayed super good friends. It was a lot of us.
That's so nice.
Also, the best people come from New York Law School, just saying.
Yeah.
My besties went there, love them.
Really?
Yes. And we still talk, we still have like happy
That's
hours
amazing.
together with that group.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
nice.
Also, when I get married, Paul is officiating my wedding.
Oh
So,
my God,
yes.
full circle right there.
No, I'm not engaged yet, but
But you just- you've already
I
made
already
it up.
asked.
Yeah.
Already asked.
Yeah.
He already said yes.
I love that.
And it's going around town.
Oh.
So, I'm also yapping. Man.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm so curious on how this transitioned to us.
Yeah,
That's
it's
like,
a
let's
long
go.
story, and I feel like you need to hear the long story to
100%.
actually get like the
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
So, and he was like, "We're gonna get you in entertainment." He knew my goal was entertainment, and that I
Yeah.
was here just because.
Yeah.
But it ended up being amazing because I think entertainment, a lot of people, when you hear entertainment, you're not really sure what area of law it is.
Right.
Like it's so many different things kind of
Yeah.
mushed into one.
Yeah.
So, and I did a lot of employment related things, which helps me so much in my career today.
Mhm.
So everything I learned is actually like transferable.
Right.
He had me conducting depositions by myself with organized crime members.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Funny side story. One of the organized crime members that I had to depose, I found him on TikTok.
Really?
And he passed away.
Oh,
I found him, passed away the next day. I
Oh,
know.
stop.
I was like super excited
Your
to see.
sixth sense is really.
I was super excited to
wow.
see his like glow up era of being a good person.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Oh, God. Poor
Um,
guy. Sorry.
whatever. Maybe that was like oversharing, but but it was great. So like just because you don't get something entertainment your first internship doesn't mean that you won't be in entertainment.
Yeah.
It's a good stepping stone. Even if you're doing a judicial clerkship or like is that what it's called in law school? I don't even know. That was never an option for me. I couldn't work for a judge. It wasn't in the cards.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, especially your first. They always say it matters so much. Like if you're going to big law, congratulations. It does not matter what you do.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, when we
Doesn't matter.
talked on the phone yesterday, I was telling Ariana, I was telling her when I was first starting in law school, everyone was like, oh, I mean, this is before my negative came back, but they were like, try and get on law review, like try to do all these things. And I was like, I want to go into entertainment. So I was like, what can I do that's in that field, right? So that's why I joined MEFLA, because I'm like, this is what I want to do. And I knew my goal. Like I started as entertainment co-chair and I wanted to become president. I'm like, that's like my law review for me. You know?
Everyone's
like,
path for that is
everyone's path is different. So
and that's actually my biggest piece of advice. Pause, because every student and even like undergrads that reach out to me, no one's path is linear.
No.
Let's say it all together. No one's path is linear.
100%.
Because all you do is compare yourself to
But that's what
everyone
law
else.
school does to us. Like
Law school's
ranking,
crazy.
curve. Like we're looking at the person next to us being like, why are you here and I'm here?
Why do you have that and I don't?
It's
I'm doing
actually
the exact same thing.
the structure of it is so toxic, I think.
I hated that too, because I was competitive growing up because I played a sport and I played soccer. But in law school, I was not competitive at all because I wanted like my friends and who was around me to also do really well. So that's something I kind of struggled with in law school, because everyone's competing with each other. I want to do better than you. I want to do better than you. And then you think you're friends with this person, but they're really just watching out to see like how you're doing in school. So it's
such a backwards like system. But I agree. It's very your paths are so even like I feel like not even like my path is going to be not the same as your path, but the different paths I can take to get to the end goal can be so like so different.
Yeah, and they convince you that if you're not doing it the right way, that you're not going to make it. The whole time. I swear to you, the whole 3 years, I was like, what am I doing?
Like they do. And not even like, and sometimes they won't even say it point blank. They're just like, it's same thing with like OCI, right? Or like on campus interviews. So if you're not in that top 10%, 8%, whatever it is, they don't even like, if you meet the right deans and stuff, they can't help you. But like the school in general, they don't help you unless you're the top of your class. So it's like,
they'll help me.
I was never the top of my class. I never went through OCI, and I've always just networked and through connections have gotten internships and jobs. I've had jobs lined up for years in advance.
But it is just backwards how like if you don't follow what they think is the right way, you're almost not, you don't get that help. So that's its own beast.
So I remember in the middle of the summer, while I was doing that internship, this guy reached out to me on LinkedIn and he was like, hey, starting a podcast and I'm starting a website and it's devoted to sports. And I think, I don't know how like he found me. I don't know. I can't remember. And if you're watching this, let me know because I can't remember. But I think I was like posting things about sports, like post on LinkedIn, guys. It's crazy, like the things that come from that. But
you were actively like posting on LinkedIn?
I think so.
Nice.
I was probably being weird about it. I was whatever. So I was posting and he was like, hey, would love to have you write for my blog.
Oh, nice.
That's
and
exciting.
I was like, okay. So I started doing it. And then he was like asking me like, what are you doing next fall? And he was like, I know someone who's hiring an intern for sports if you're interested. So I was like, yeah, I'm super interested. This was also like inception of NIL. This is the start of it, guys. Like this is the time. And I obviously.
This is a perfect end.
No one knows
what to do yet.
NIL.
This would have been would this be pre-NCAA?
This was like right after. Like almost right after.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So
Sorry, context. We're talking about when NCAA players are allowed to get commission
paid.
on.
Yes. Yes. So I was like, yeah, let's do this. This is cool. This is new. And he was like, I really think that you should do it. So interned for her. It was like almost a year and like not even a year. It was like an academic year.
Right.
Sorry, let me clarify. Did it, fell in love with
That's
it.
amazing. And this was a law firm then, or a?
She said she had her own law firm, but she was working at somewhere else. So
Got
I
it.
don't
Okay,
really.
okay.
I mean, it was her own practice.
Got it. Okay.
But then
That's
she had
so
a side
cool.
job at a firm. So not sure if I'm supposed to say that. But cut. So she was interesting.
Right.
She did inspire me a lot because she was such a hustler. Like this girl was such a hustler. She was so personable, so pretty, like just amazing.
Yeah.
And learning about all these policies, because one of one of the things I did in the internship was looking up the individual university's policy on NIL and like,
Right.
what do I have to do to be an athlete? Like, how do I get paid?
Yeah.
What's the like, basically what type of compliance you have to follow?
Right.
What's the process? So I did it for every single school in the United States.
Oh my God.
That was that's pretty much all I did.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And advised her, like, this is what it says, this is what it is.
Yeah,
giving,
yeah,
the citing and all that thing.
Yeah.
So loved it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I love sports. And I was always brought up around sports.
Right.
My dad played football. My brother played football. And my brother went to college for football.
Right.
I always loved sports. Didn't like playing them, but
like
liked
watching?
them. Yeah. I mean, sometimes watching them, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I just love, I think sports is so cool. I think it's so cool. And I didn't, also context, came into law school 100% one film
Right.
or music.
Right.
Okay.
Loved music. Was so obsessed with music and obsessed with film too. And when I got this sports gig, I was like, this is not what I want to do, but this is really cool.
Yeah.
Foot in the door. My whole personality changed. I was like,
I'm a sports girly.
it's either sports or nothing, guys.
Yeah, yeah.
It made my whole personality sports.
I love that.
And then summer comes around. Well,
Is it summer of 2L then?
So this is summer of 2L. Well,
Okay.
actually, let me go to spring of 2L. Can't find a job.
Yeah.
I'm in the final round of a very large music label internship. And I wanted this, guys. This was my dream job. And I mean dream job. This is what I came to law school for. In the last interview, so this is final interviews, they tell me, you got it. Like, you should expect, to get your offer in the mail or email. I'm in St. Augustine with my boyfriend, and we're on a trolley, doing a little trolley tour. I get an email. Congratulations, you've been waitlisted.
No.
I had no other options. I was dropping everything. Don't drop anything.
No.
I dropped everything because they told me you got it.
Yeah.
I ended up being waitlisted for the position. Have you ever heard?
I didn't even know there was a thing.
Have you ever heard of a waitlist?
No.
For yeah.
No.
Never.
Did you get off the wait list?
Sounds like you're being
no, but it's funny because the same person who waitlisted me tried to offer me a job like a few months ago. So
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's what happens. Yeah.
no,
That's crazy.
yeah, it all comes full circle.
Yeah.
And then oh my God, I ruined that trip. Sorry, John. I ruined that trip. I was crying my whole life. Oh my gosh, it was so bad. I ruined that trip. So I was like, by the way, my birthday.
Always is.
So
Always is.
It was about to be my birthday.
Yeah.
So
When's your birthday? Sorry.
March 24th,
Nice.
Aries.
Hi,
Ariana the
Aries.
Aries. So I was like, got a game plan.
Yeah.
And also wasn't even thinking about anything else. I was like, everything needs to pause. I need to find something. Cause
Yeah.
It's March.
Yeah.
You need something. Everyone around me has their big law, the thing,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh my God, it's just me. So this is why law school is super toxic, because also LinkedIn is toxic because you see all these people saying, I got this offer, it's so early.
Yeah.
And I'm there like, oh my
So you're like, now there's no jobs out
God,
there.
nothing. Yeah,
Right.
nothing. Something about entertainment, and I'm sure you both know, everything comes out so late.
Always. And it's like, we need someone for next week. It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Late. So I applied for Sony Music. And I remember I did the interview in Miami, never heard back. And I met in Miami remotely because it was one of those Spark Hire,
Yeah,
record yourself.
Right.
Never heard back. And that was like before, I think that was before the trip. I was like, I'm just going to apply just in case. Your
Right.
sixth sense.
Yeah.
I had a feeling something bad was going to happen.
Yeah.
Always have to go with your gut feeling.
Yeah.
I live by that.
No, 100%. So I, touching my hair too much.
That's me.
Yeah.
See, that's why we put the headphones on. So I can't touch my hair.
So I was like, what am I gonna do? I'm panicking. I was like, I need to be at Sony Music because like I need to be at a label.
Yeah.
I have to. I wanted to be in a label. I wanted to be in house.
Right.
I did not want to be at a law firm, and Seton Hall had no connections. So I was like, what am I gonna do? Like, how do I get my application like to the forefront of these people's minds?
Right.
I end up looking like, and this is, everybody listen, take your notes. I went crazy and I was like, I need to find people who work at Sony Music in the legal department. There's multiple divisions.
Did you cold outreach?
I messaged every single attorney that I had not, at least one little thing in common with.
Yeah.
Someone answered.
No.
And I was like, can we get on a call today? Like a call today, right now. And he was like, sure, let's get on. And I told him, and it wasn't, I never go into a call saying I want a job.
Right.
Never.
Yeah,
Right.
Horrible. That's so disrespectful. And I have so many people doing that to me right now. And, and now being on the other side of it, I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Because I feel used. But I got on the call. I was like, hey, like, I want to be you. I want your job. I want to learn everything about what you do. Whatever. And then towards the end of the call, he was like, did you apply for the legal internship? And I said, yeah, I haven't heard anything. He's like, didn't get your application. Also, if there's HR, you never get the application. But he was like, send me over your resume real quick. And I was like, okay. So I sent it. Literally like an hour later, he's like, can you get on a call with my boss tomorrow? And he was very transparent. He's like, listen, like this isn't an offer. Like you got to be realistic. We have so many people applying for this internship. I think on LinkedIn it said like 3,000 people applied.
Crazy.
There was one person they were hiring for their department. One
That's
position.
nuts.
So he was like, setting up my expectations. Love him for that because you should
yeah,
always
yeah.
say, like just because you're getting through doesn't mean you're going to get it.
Right.
So get on the call, talk to the boss, talk to another attorney, went super well, loved them. They're awesome people. Everyone at Sony is so awesome and so nice. And he called me the next day and was like, yay, you got it.
That's so
amazing.
cool.
And I was like, yes, like this worked out.
Yeah.
And I remember, and my boyfriend's gonna be pissed for me saying it. My boyfriend was crying his eyes out. He was like, I'm so proud of you. Like, I'm so, like, this is
such
like,
a nice moment.
these are those stories that are like, oh, it's
It
working
made
out.
it finally feels like it's working for you. Yeah.
And of course, like, I think also as a student in the mind, you're like, this might be my post-grad offer. Like, they're gonna give me an offer.
100%.
Yeah.
So did it. Felt awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome experience. Sony's awesome. Love them. Sony Music especially is awesome. I did so much. It was so cool. So casual in the office. Like you could wear jeans.
Nice.
Like I wasn't used to that. I was
Yeah,
wearing
yeah.
like slacks and things. And I'm not a slacks girl. But it was just such an awesome experience. I got to listen to what's his name? It's like potion number 9 or patient number 9. What's his? I forgot his name. Freak now, the one that's like Sharon. You know what I'm talking about? Sharon Osbourne. Ozzy Osbourne.
Oh,
sorry.
when you were
guys.
saying Sharon, I was thinking Ozzy Osbourne, but I was like,
that's
Ozzy.
so funny.
Ozzy. So
Ozzy.
the cool thing about Sony Music is that they play music on every floor, and
nice.
like they play it from like
Out to the day?
Yeah. No, the whole day.
Yeah, that's
And
nice.
it's blasting.
I'd be dancing around.
So I have patient
Around
number
the
9,
office.
Ozzy Osbourne, every day for 3 months, and I'm like, yeah, I revival.
Oh my God, I
Ozzy.
love that.
And so I was like, yeah, like I'm in love with what I'm doing. And then, I'm networking because you should always network during your internships. Literally like walk past Clive Davis, super cool. Did not ask to speak.
Yeah.
But I networked and I was like, hey, like, what's the possibility of like
A return up.
yeah, like I want to come back.
Yeah.
And they were like, it's not gonna happen. Like that's not
That's not what they do.
it's not a thing in-house. If you do get a return offer, like you're so lucky.
Right.
You're so lucky, but it's just not a thing.
Right.
And I think in Sony Music, they prefer that you practice for a while and then come in.
Would you say is the same where you are now? Like no return offers kind of thing? Or maybe.
Let me get there.
Sorry.
This is such a long story. I'm sorry,
No,
guys.
keep going. That's why it's a two-parter.
I think you really, really, really need the context.
Yeah.
So, I was so devastated.
Yeah.
I didn't have anything. Interviewed for firms. And I knew I wanted a well-rounded experience in law school. So I did the government my first summer. I did the single attorney law firm my 2L year. Did in-house. I was like, I need some law firms, like bigger law firms on my resume. So worked for 2 boutique entertainment firms in the city my fall and spring. But I can tell you that Sony on my resume opened. The door was open.
Yeah.
And that was the
right
foot in the door.
Yeah.
That was the foot in the door.
Right.
And so, and even then, like the internships are like, you're really lucky that we're interviewing you because your GPA is like not where we need it to be. Yeah. And I was like, okay,
Perfect.
but it's okay. Like they hired me.
Yeah,
And I did extremely well.
Yeah.
And I loved those internships. And so like, here I am, my mind's changing. I'm like, I want to go into litigation. I want to be attorney at a law firm. And then, it's spring of 3L, waiting for the offer. Don't get it from the firm, but it's okay. Again, everything happens for a reason.
Yes,
So
everything
I'm like
does happen for a reason.
devastated. Everyone around me has an offer. Everyone around me, my GPA is finally great.
Yeah.
Finally great. And I was like, here you go. Here's my GPA. It's so good now.
Yeah.
And they were like, listen, like we only have money for one person. They hired the other girl, but she was there a lot longer than me, and I'm happy that she got the offer. She was really nice, but it's okay. But I'm like, and this is something that I tell students that talk to me. The worst thing you can do is set unrealistic time expectations. I think that was my downfall, my last year of law school. I kept saying, okay, by this month, I'm going to have a job offer. And by the time I got there, no job offer.
It's also out of your control.
Yeah, but I wanted to control.
Right.
Law school, all of us, if you go to law school, you want to control.
Yeah, you do want to be in control.
I don't know. I also just wanted peace. And like, I was like, I can't imagine being unemployed during the bar exam. I can't, like during the bar prep. So I'm applying. I'm like, I'm going to have a job before the last day of school. Didn't have one. No one's talking about it. So I feel all alone. Talking to professors, talking to everybody, trying to meet up with people. No one has anything, applying. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to have a job by graduation. Didn't have a job. My grandma dies the day before graduation.
Oh my God,
I'm like,
sorry.
okay, now I have to do bar prep. The person I love the most passes away. I'm like, how? And then I have to find a job. So I actually did a crazy thing, and I took like 2 weeks off of bar prep. And I was like, I gotta just relax.
Yeah.
And I stopped applying to jobs, stopped doing everything. I maybe had 1 month and 2 weeks of bar prep. And then obviously I'm hearing my professor's voice, you're never gonna pass, you're never gonna pass, you're never gonna pass.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know why I'm studying. I'm not gonna pass and I don't have a job.
Yeah.
So I'm networking crazy, guys. I'm studying. I was also doing it really wrong because I was so late in bar prep. I was studying all day long. And I mean, I was waking up at like 6 a.m. and I studied till like 2 o'clock in the morning, both me and my boyfriend. We studied together in the same apartment.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Ooh.
That's a lot.
Yeah. No, it
That's a
ended up
lot.
working out.
Yeah.
And it was cool because we could discuss things after.
Yeah.
Well, that's what helps, I think, is studying and then talking about it after. Because that's
Yeah.
when you know, what do I know, what do I don't know, is when you're saying it out loud.
Yeah. It's easy to read it and be like, I get it.
And like, so romantic. We used to lay in bed and just listen to that podcast of like bar stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
No. And like our pillow talk would be like, that's not right.
Yeah,
That's not,
yeah.
no, you're doing it wrong. Whatever. And then he
my
was like,
God.
I'm not gonna study for this. And I'm like, no, we have to. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
That's whatever. But
Hey, if you guys can make it through that, you're gonna
I
make
was
it
just
through
gonna
anything.
say that's like do or die bar prep together.
we were
My boyfriend's not even in law school, and I feel like if I'm studying, I'm like, get away
we
from
were like
me.
this close to just like
Yeah,
But yeah. So I'm networking. I'm doing everything I can.
Yeah.
And what I did was I didn't have a lunch break when I was preparing for the bar. What I did was during bar prep, I took an hour every single day to send 1,000 messages.
You were grinding.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
getting a
Are
job.
you talking like
Yeah, yeah.
emails, LinkedIn, everything?
Everything,
Like, I love it.
calling. Oh, something crazy I did. And I'm so sorry if you're watching this and you're one of the people. I used to find law firms that I really liked, or I thought I liked.
Yeah.
And I would put the managing partner as like the 2 or like the firm email. I would
Right.
CC every single person that worked there.
You're like, I'm gonna get a
No,
job either
that's
way.
great.
Figured out.
There was a good 45.
Were people?
on
What would you say your percentage of people actually responding?
everyone.
Was responding?
They were like, honestly, respect the hustle. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. They loved it.
Because they like people that show
That's-
how
that's
passionate they are
actually
about that.
crazy.
Than to just apply and be like, okay,
I
I'll
can
forget
just
about
picture
it.
like 150
I'm like,
attorneys
hey.
CC'd on an email.
No, you
being
want to
like,
know the best
"Who's this
part?
girl?"
The best part is calling them the wrong firm because it's a copy and paste note
Have you,
into the email. So
Did you do that? Oh my
To, a,
No, I was like-
to all
I
the
was like,
attorneys is
"Hey!"
crazy.
And they were like, this is not us. And I'm like, God, whatever. Or like, hey, my resume is attached. No resume attached.
Amazing.
I was losing my mind.
Yeah.
I was losing my mind.
You're like, Barbara, leave me
I was
alone.
like, I don't care. Yeah.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
And then I was like, take it as a loss.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was horrible. Finally, 2 weeks before the bar exam, also moved to a new apartment during the
Crazy.
bar prep. Like
Crazy.
it was horrible. So I remember I get an interview for a civil litigation firm. And it's remote, which I was like, yes.
Yeah.
And I go into my room, no furniture, sit on the floor and put my laptop on like a garbage can.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, this is it. Like, and when you're at the point of desperation for a job, like you're like, I don't need entertainment anymore. You
It'll be
convince
anything.
yourself,
Yeah.
you convince
Yeah.
yourself like I'm not gonna do this. And it's just like, I'll do it later, or like, this is what I want to do. And I was convincing myself, guys, I wanted to be a litigator in civil litigation. Like
You're like, I guess this is what I'm meant to be.
I look back
You're
and I'm like, this is what was
yeah.
this is crazy.
Yeah.
And they were like, we're super happy with you. We really like you. Whatever, like we think that you'd be a great addition. And I remember it was like the Thursday before the bar exam, they emailed me and they're like, no, we need someone with more experience. And I was like, God, like I'm gonna have nothing. So I remember I was talking to my parents and my boyfriend. And I was like, what, should I just stop for right
Yeah.
now? Like, it's a few days before the bar exam. I should just stop. And they're like, yeah, stop. I get a call from someone who is in my committee at the New York City bar. And he was like, hey, you still looking for a job? And I was like, yes. And he was like, I don't want you to be upset, but this is a JD Advantage job. Definition of JD Advantage, if anybody watching, it's also JD Preferred. It's when you just need a JD for the job. It's not specifically an attorney position, but it's like, legal, like, esque. Like, I don't even know how
legal job, but you didn't need the bar exam or bar
you don't need-
admission.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you just need the
Yeah,
degree.
yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
need the pass.
And I was
yeah.
like, you know what? I have nothing else.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
go. So interview for this place. Loved the people that I interviewed with. And it was obviously I'm still pushing for music, by the way.
Right.
Because I love music. Film was out of the question. I was pushing for music and they were a influencer like company, like rep company. I interview, love the people. They were like, listen, this is like, we need someone with legal experience. But this is not an attorney job. This is your salary. And I was like, you know what? Let's do it. Like, whatever. I did the interview, didn't hear back from them. Took the bar 4 or 5 days later.
Mhm.
I remember going in the bar, felt nervous, but felt good. I felt prepared. And I studied like way too much. I took the bar, got to the lunch break, and got a call. And they were like, hey, we'd like to offer you the job. And I was like, God, this is great. And I looked at my boyfriend, I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? Do I take it? And I was, a little part of me was excited, but then a little part of me was a little disappointed because like I went to law school for 3 years. Like
Yeah.
I want to be an attorney.
Yeah.
And I was a little disappointed. And I was always told like, don't do JD Advantage because you will never get a job post JD Advantage. Like you're
Right.
kind of stuck in that little realm. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. Like it's a foot in the door.
Yeah.
If it's so bad and I'm so upset, like I'll keep applying.
Yeah.
And I also I felt a little secure also because a lot of my friends, their bar passage, like their job was contingent on bar passage. So like my friend who was a clerk for this place for a long time, he didn't pass the bar on the first try and they let him go. They let him go like the day he
Yeah.
walked in, the day
That's
after
crazy.
they found out and they're like, you're gone. They also looked at the pass list and his name wasn't on. They're like, you're out.
Wow.
And they had his stuff in a box.
Oh, I didn't know.
my
Oh my
God.
gosh.
And I was like, oh my God. But I'm happy because I thought about that. I was like, okay, my job is secure because
Yeah,
it's not
yeah.
it's not contingent on that. So
Right.
and I was like, influencers, like this is not, I don't want to do this. Like doesn't
Right.
sound fun. and I started very, very fast. I started like 3 weeks after the bar exam.
Wow.
So, which everybody else had a whole summer,
Yeah,
and here
yeah,
I
yeah.
am like going to work.
Yeah.
It's super contracts based. So like the majority of my job is just redlining agreements.
Sounds like what I do now. It
Yeah,
sounds like
that does
very
sound-
similar.
It was
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, it was nice. After a while, it got a little bit consistent, but of course, I don't really have I don't have that job to be doing
Yeah,
more.
Yeah.
So, and I'm having anxiety about passing the bar. I'm worrying I'm not gonna pass. I'm not gonna pass.
Right.
And I remember it was October. My mom and I went on a little New England trip. Also, Mom, shouting you out so much.
Yeah.
We went on a little New England trip, and we were driving, and I was like, "This is gonna be the week it comes out." Like,
Yeah.
I have a feeling.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking it's gonna come out the entire time I'm on the trip with my mom. So
Right.
I am being a pill with my mother.
Right.
I'm like not being nice.
Oh.
Sorry, mommy. We can redo.
Yeah.
And I was so anxious, and I knew in my heart I did not pass.
Right.
Like it was the multiple choice section. Like
Oh yeah,
you go,
The
you're like,
multiple
"You're
choice,
good."
yeah,
And multiple
messes
choice,
you
you're
up.
like, yeah.
You think that'd be the easiest because it's like, oh, if you don't
No.
know an answer, you know, just pick one. But no, I think it's the hardest for me.
It was so funny because after the essays, I was like, oh my God, I'm doing so well. Like I'm doing great. And like everybody around me was like, yes, yeah, what? After the multiple choice, silence in a room of thousands of people.
Yeah.
We're like, everybody walks out. It was like a funeral. Like it was so bad. And so the last day, my mom and I returned to New York City. She's about to get in an Uber to go to LaGuardia. And I get an email. Results are out. And I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Like, I can't, my mom's here.
Yeah.
She's about, and we're waiting for her Uber. Like,
Yeah,
we
you're
already
like, not
called
the
it.
time.
We already called it. And I open it. I passed. Flying colors passed.
Stop.
Oh man. And I passed good. Good.
Oh, that's so nice.
you
makes
don't
me-
need, what?
That makes me feel so much better because
Yeah.
I'm in limbo right now. I'm waiting for
Mhm.
my results. They're coming out either next week,
You got
next
it.
week or the week after, and I'm like,
Mhm.
I don't know. Like, did I
Yeah.
fail? Did I not? Like, should
It's
I change that
horrible.
answer? Like, I'm going through it right now. My mom
Mhm.
feels it too right
Mhm.
now, but
Oh
she's
my
like,
gosh.
go to your apartment.
Everyone
she's like,
around
get out
you
of
is
here.
like,
Yeah, I definitely feel like just like a pit in my stomach
Yeah.
24/7.
mhm.
So like for you to feel like, oh, maybe I didn't pass, and then getting that pass, like
Yeah. And then,
that helps me.
yeah. And then also it's on my mind is my boyfriend and I live together. We
Oh,
both
did
took the
he-
same exam, guys.
Oh my gosh.
Both took the same exam. So I'm like, John's gonna pass. Also,
Yeah.
that's his name. John's gonna pass, and I'm gonna look at him and cry because I'm not gonna be able to celebrate. But then also, it's like, what if I pass? He doesn't.
Right.
Yeah.
Like we sleep in the same.
Yeah.
in the same
Yeah.
bed.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna look at him, whatever.
Yeah.
So I pass, and I'm too scared to message him, and he's
Oh.
like, "What's going on?" And I was like, "I passed." He's like, "Me too."
Oh,
And it was
perfect.
great. It was
Perfect.
great. It
I
was
was like,
so
oh God.
great.
Best scenario right
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
Celebrate
amazing.
together. Yeah.
Amazing. But I also knew that New York, so I was like, "Yay, I passed!" But then New York's not like Florida, where like you get sworn in the same day.
Yeah.
So
Wait, how long are you gonna get to this? How long it took you to get
oh
sworn in?
yeah.
So I need to know this.
admitted October. And also I was like one of the lucky ones that got admitted like very, very early. Very early.
Yeah.
December.
Wow.
Yeah.
So my friend, some of us took it in Jersey, some of
Mhm.
us took it in New York,
Mhm.
and my friend in Jersey passed sworn in the same
Sworn in the same
exact
day.
week.
Yeah.
My friends in New York passed in October, still
Yeah.
not sworn into this
Yeah.
day. It's
What?
almost May.
It takes forever.
Yeah.
It takes forever.
It takes it just depends, like
Mhm.
how
Yeah,
fast
DC
they
was
get to
quick
you.
too. I was like,
Was DC
Really?
quick?
yeah, yeah.
Florida's fast.
Really?
Florida's
It's fun.
super fast, but like no one passes Florida. I don't know why it's so hard.
Yeah,
but,
I've heard that.
But yeah, so I passed, but then I'm like, should I start applying for other
Yeah,
jobs?
yeah.
Like,
True.
I'm an attorney.
Yeah.
So,
So were you applying for jobs in between July and October? Or were you just like
no,
working? You started your job 3 weeks later.
I really liked my job. I really
Yeah.
liked what I was doing, and I was thinking like, I wrongfully thought like, oh, they're just gonna like easily promote me.
yeah.
And so I passed, and I remember I had a conversation with my superior, and I was like, hey, is this like possible? And she was like, listen, I don't think so. Like, we hired you for this specific job, and it was okay. Like, okay,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
fine. Also, hadn't been sworn in yet, so it's like I'm not really an
In a
attorney.
rush. Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's fine. So I did my job, and I told her like, please bring me on more projects. I want to do more legal work. And she's like, you know what? Yeah, we need
Right,
we need the
right.
help. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So she started giving me some more like brand facing agreements and some more like vendor stuff. And like I was getting exposed to all these different types of agreements.
Yeah.
Come December, I get sworn in. And then I'm like, I can't, it's not a bad thing to be in a JD Advantage job. It's just personally, I really, really wanted an attorney.
100%.
I really wanted an attorney title.
Yeah.
So I had talked to my supervisor and I was like, listen, I really, really want this. I really want this. Like I'm not asking for anything else. And she gave me the chance and I don't know if I would call it a promotion because I ended up doing the exact same thing, but I got a title change to associate in-house counsel.
Nice. Wow.
And here I am, like, which is very rare. Also, like, everything is rare. Like, my path is very rare.
Yeah.
But I was doing everything the other attorneys were doing, so I feel like it wasn't a bad argument.
Right.
And so I got so much experience, and I really think that first job for being the place where I got so much experience because I wouldn't be where I am today. And I don't know, I just felt like it was time to move on.
Yeah. How long were you there after?
Well, I applied for Wasserman, my current job, I think end of December, and I didn't really have any connections at Was. I had spoken to.
Did you just see it? And like, and what was the title you were applying for?
It was legal counsel, and it said like you needed 5 years of experience. So I was like, let's go.
See,
like,
that's
who cares what it says about requirements? Just apply anyways.
Also,
just apply. Who cares?
Was clicking every easy apply.
Yeah.
We'll only click, and if I saw like, oh, you need a cover letter, not applying. Sorry. Too much work. So it was easy apply. But I had heard about Wasserman because of their sports reputation, and they're just awesome in sports.
They're amazing.
And I saw that this was a sports and creators job.
Oh, it's perfect.
Yeah, so I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. And like, I loved my first job, but it's like, I really liked what I was reading about this one, and I was like, I'm just gonna apply. I'm never gonna get it. 5 years of experience, I'm never gonna get it. So I was like, whatever.
Especially when it's written out as a requirement, like on the application.
Did not have a referral.
Did
not have a referral.
Right.
Did not know. I had spoken to an attorney, but I'm sure he forgot about me.
Yeah.
So I didn't have any connections. I applied organically.
Wow.
Without connections.
LinkedIn?
LinkedIn.
I love it.
Got a call the next week from HR, and they're like, hey, we think your background matches this job. We'd love to interview you. And
I love it.
I honestly was like, I don't want to put too much effort into this because like I'm gonna be heartbroken. This is gonna be that one.
Right. You're setting
that,
yourself
like,
up.
hurts.
Yeah.
And so like I said this to the girls before I started the podcast. I don't prepare anymore because when you prepare, you get more upset when it doesn't work out the way you want it. Yeah. So I just didn't prepare. And I spoke to the HR person like myself. I said, I was exactly how I'm talking to you now. Yeah. This is how I was talking. And she was like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And so I expected like, it's not going to work out.
Right.
Like whatever. I get an email. Next round. This takes 5 months.
Stop. 5 months?
5 or like 4. I don't know. I can't remember.
Oh my gosh.
So I think I got my HR call in December and I got my job offer in April.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm still working at the other place.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Like I liked the other place. It was a good place to start. But so I'm interviewing, and at each interview that goes by, I'm like, I'm not getting it.
Yeah.
Like there's no way. And like the people that interviewed me were very like, were very clear that like the other people that they were interviewing were a little bit more experienced than me and whatever. So midway through the interview process, they're like, listen, we've decided to change this and make it fully creators. I didn't know why.
Right.
But they were like, no more sports.
Okay.
And so I was kind of bummed, but I was like, no, I'm really good at the creator stuff. This is what I've been doing for however many months. So I was like, okay, no, it's totally good. And I felt good about it.
Yeah.
I really liked the people I was interviewing with. Also Wasserman just, I don't know if they like have like a recommended, or not a recommended, but like a specific way of looking for people. But everyone is awesome.
Really? Oh,
everyone's
I love that.
amazing.
I love that.
Everyone's
That's
so
important
nice
in the workplace.
Oh, yeah.
You want to enjoy waking up and going there every day.
Yeah. And I also was like, again, in-house, desired place to be.
Yeah.
So I was like, God, and I was getting really like, I really love this. I want this so bad.
Yeah.
Wait, can we go back really quick? How many interviews did you have to go through until you got the acceptance?
I think there were so many. Like I think
over
like
5?
6,
Okay.
7.
Okay.
Wow.
And then 2 assignments.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What were the assignments like?
Exactly what I did the last job.
Nice.
I love that.
You
I
had your
killed it.
experience.
I love that.
I killed it. And the guy I talked to, that I networked with like months before I even applied for this,
Right.
who forgot about me, is my boss.
Oh, perfect. I love
He's
when
my
that happens.
supervisor.
I love that.
Love him. He's amazing.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. And then I remember did the final interview, and was so like, my heart was just so into it.
Yeah.
And it was my boyfriend's birthday, which, funny enough, it was yesterday.
Oh.
Yesterday was the
1
anniversary
year. Oh, I
of
love
that interview.
that.
It was my boyfriend's birthday, and I was like, I'm gonna make his birthday so horrible because I'm again ruining everything for him. But we're, the whole time we're at his dinner, I'm talking about like, what if I don't get this? Like, what am I gonna do? He's like, you're gonna get it. You're gonna get it. And then I knew there was like an attorney with like more years under their belt,
Right.
also against me
Right.
at the end. And then the next day, I got the offer.
It's amazing.
That's so
why I
nice.
never
5 months
give
is still
up.
crazy. 5 months to me, after a month, 2 months, I'd be like, I guess I didn't get it. Like,
Yep.
that's crazy.
Yep. And then I find out so the division that I'm working in was a product of an acquisition. So
Okay.
Wasserman acquired a talent agency, a creators agency, and they needed an attorney. So I was the only attorney doing their stuff.
Wait.
So they needed, the way that it's built is that it's kind of in the sports division,
Okay.
weirdly enough, but the sports division of WAS is so busy.
Yeah.
It was a lot for all of the attorneys to do that and creator stuff.
Yeah.
So they were like, we need one person to do the creator stuff.
Right.
And I ended up being that one person.
That's
And it was
amazing.
you.
I know.
You.
And
All
I'm
that
like, I'm
grinding.
just a baby.
Yeah.
I'm just a baby.
Is that
baby.
still what you're doing to this day?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
So I'm like, imposter syndrome, how am I doing this all by myself?
Yeah.
Like,
So is it still just you?
no.
Okay.
That's great. So we had another acquisition, and we brought in another attorney who was an intern at WAS.
So you
And
guys are
she is
interesting.
amazing.
Amazing.
She's incredible. Love her.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
it's so awesome too when you love the person you work directly with, like your
Yeah,
coworker, the
yeah.
closest
Yeah.
coworker.
Yeah.
She is amazing. We get along
That's
so well.
See, that just proves, because that's two different stories where like an in-house position is like very not against, but like don't really give return offers, and then one where like it's definitely an opportunity.
And I asked my boss, I was like, listen, like, why me?
Yeah.
Like, why? Like, I didn't have the experience that everybody else had. It's
Right.
like, you just knew what you were talking about. Like, yeah, we need people with a lot of experience, but you had it.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even a year as an attorney. Guys, I applied. I was only a week
Yeah, that's crazy.
of a registered sworn in attorney.
Yeah.
That's so
week.
inspiring.
Yeah,
though.
that's
that just goes to
amazing.
show, like, because I think a lot of people get discouraged
Mhm.
when they go on LinkedIn and they see you need 5
100%.
years of experience,
Yeah.
you need to have this, and this, and they're like, I have none of that.
Yeah.
Just apply. You don't
Yeah.
know what's going to
You never
happen.
know.
Let them tell you no.
And be yourself.
Yeah. And what a full circle from like literally going from like wanting to quit because you like failing classes and scholarships to now like basically being the sole attorney at it. That's crazy.
Or the start of the LSAT. Because if that
Here I
was the
am.
start
Yeah.
of like the legal
Sorry,
career.
Yeah.
LSAC.
Yeah, that's crazy. Wow.
So
Yeah.
can you tell us a
That's
little
my story.
I know.
It's over.
I know. No, I love it. That was like the most amazing,
Yes.
inspiring story. And I honestly, like, I know we're going to say we're going to do this as a part 2. And I think we should, just because I think that this context is so important to get us to kind of like what your thoughts are. So I think we can wrap this up for today. And we'll see you guys over in part 2, where we're going to dig into more of like your thoughts on everything and anything. But
good.
I actually think that, I don't know, this story in itself, I think is so inspiring and something that I'm excited to talk more about because, wow.
Yeah,
too.
I'm
good.
excited too. It's inspiring. That's why when I talked to Ariana, I was like, no, you have to come on.
Yeah,
Like, this
no,
is going to be an
that's-
amazing
that is-
episode, and we want to make it into 2 parts.
Yeah, that was great. So I guess we'll see you guys next week. In the meantime, make sure to follow us on all of our socials: Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube, Spotify. You know the drill. But for now, stay stylish
Stay sharp.
and stay legal.
Bye, guys.
guys.